As Mercury, the planet of intelligence, communication, and analytical thinking, enters fiery Leo on August 30th, 2025, the cosmos prepares us for an intense, dramatic, and transformative period. This transit lasts until September 15th, 2025, and during this time Mercury will conjoin with the Sun and Ketu, amplifying its effects on collective consciousness and individual lives. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on sidereal or Vedic astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. More than just a brief transit, Mercury's movement through Leo this year coincides with an important backdrop: the beginning of eclipse season. The total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius and the solar eclipse on September 21st in Virgo mark a period of karmic shifts and heightened awareness. Against this charged atmosphere, Mercury's presence in Leo becomes both a spotlight and a catalyst, forcing us to re-examine how we think, speak, and make decisions. Mercury is naturally neutral, flexible, and adaptive in nature. It reflects how we process information, communicate with others, handle calculations, manage trade, and even approach younger siblings and friendships. Mercury's conjunction with the Sun, which is also in Leo until September 17th, creates a combust effect where Mercury's voice may seem overshadowed by authority, ego, or dominant personalities. At the same time, Ketu's presence in Leo intensifies this dynamic, adding a layer of detachment, spiritual questioning, and karmic redirection to Mercury's usual logical and practical energies. The sign of Leo brings its own influence to Mercury's transit. Leo, ruled by the Sun, represents authority, leadership, creativity, expression, and recognition. When Mercury, the planet of communication, enters this fiery sign, it often enhances dramatic self-expression, bold declarations, and the urge to make one's voice heard. People may feel compelled to speak with authority or defend their opinions passionately. It can be a time of strong creative ideas, charismatic communication, and heightened curiosity about leadership, politics, or personal recognition. Yet, with Ketu's conjunction, the brilliance of Mercury may be scattered or obscured, leading to confusion, impulsive speech, or difficulty maintaining clarity. This is further amplified by the eclipses, which symbolize endings, beginnings, and hidden truths coming to light. Collectively, it suggests a time when communication may be misinterpreted, secrets may surface, and people may struggle to align their thoughts with their actions. Another important consideration is the dignity of Mercury during this period. Mercury in Leo adopts the fiery qualities of its host, the Sun. This can make Mercury's communication style more authoritative, bold, and even theatrical. Since the Sun itself is moving toward conjunction with Ketu, Mercury's strength becomes unstable. The Sun-Ketu-Mercury combination often brings an energy of self-doubt, lack of clarity in decision-making, or difficulty expressing oneself. It can create circumstances where people feel unheard, overshadowed, or disconnected from their own logical thinking. On a collective level, this could manifest as political miscommunication, controversial public statements, or disruptions in media and information flow. The larger planetary environment further shapes this transit's meaning. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces during this time, forcing a collective review of responsibilities, karmic lessons, and emotional boundaries. Jupiter in Gemini brings intellectual expansion and curiosity, but its retrograde later in October will deepen introspection. Mars, transiting Virgo and moving into Libra on September 13th, adds a restless and assertive undertone to communications, sometimes leading to arguments or impulsive decisions. Venus, moving from Cancer into Leo on September 15th, will join Mercury just as it leaves the sign, signaling a period where creative and artistic expression may flourish, but only after Mercury has helped clear karmic clutter. One of the key lessons of Mercury's transit through Leo is how we use our voice and intellect in the presence of authority and karmic redirection. For many, this may be a time when conversations with bosses, father figures, or authority figures feel tense or complicated. It may also be a time when internal dialogue becomes clouded by self-doubt, particularly if one feels overshadowed or unheard. The presence of Ketu suggests that Mercury-related matters, such as contracts, negotiations, or educational pursuits, may face unexpected delays or require a more spiritual, detached perspective. Instead of rushing into decisions, it is wiser to step back, observe, and reflect before speaking or signing commitments. On a spiritual level, this transit encourages self-awareness regarding ego and communication. With eclipses marking this period, the cosmos is stripping away illusions, forcing people to reevaluate how they use their words, ideas, and mental energy. This is not an ideal time for impulsive debates, confrontations, or aggressive communication. Instead, it is a period for self-study, humility, and careful use of speech. Overall, Mercury's transit in Leo from August 30th to September 15th, 2025, is far more than a fleeting event. With its conjunction to the Sun and Ketu, its timing during eclipse season, and its interaction with other planetary forces, Mercury's presence in Leo will amplify karmic lessons tied to communication, authority, and self-expression. It's crucial to recognize Mercury symbolizes communication influenced by surroundings, mirroring how conversations reflect one's company. In essence, Mercury's transit triggers curiosity regarding matters related to the sign and house it traverses, prompting information gathering and sharing, aligning with Mercury's fundamental nature to communicate and exchange knowledge. To assess the impact of this transit, it's crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign provides insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you'll emotionally respond to these changes. Consider the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current Dasha period. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Mercury's Ashtaka Varga score in Leo. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit will differ from person to person, contingent on Mercury's interaction with the planets in their individual birth charts, or its transit through the zodiac. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Mercury Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. It's important to remember that the effects of this transit will vary for each person. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Mercury, the ruler of the 3rd and 6th houses, transits through the 5th house of intelligence, romance, speculation, and children. This transit is particularly significant because Mercury will be conjunct the Sun and Ketu in Leo, forming an eclipse-like alignment that can intensify matters related to ego, authority, clarity of expression, and detachment from worldly attachments in creative or romantic domains. Alongside this, the total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius, with the moon aligned with Rahu, activates your 11th house of social networks, gains, and aspirations, creating a push and pull dynamic between personal joy and collective involvement. Adding further complexity, your chart ruler Mars continues its transit through Virgo, energizing the 6th house of work and health until September 13th, before entering Libra, your 7th house of partnerships, where it will bring dynamism and intensity in relationships. All these movements combined weave a powerful narrative for Aries individuals in terms of self-expression, love, finances, and long-term ambitions. Mercury in the 5th house brings a sharp analytical approach to creative pursuits. This is a period where Aries individuals may find themselves reevaluating their ideas, strategies, and even romantic connections with a critical lens. Mercury's connection to both communication and intellect ensures that your creative energy is channeled into more practical and productive outlets, though the conjunction with Ketu may make you second-guess your decisions or feel a sense of detachment from pursuits that once gave joy. For those engaged in speculative ventures, stock trading, or investments, this transit demands caution, as decisions made hastily or without proper clarity may lead to mixed results. The Sun adds confidence to your ideas, but Ketu may cause sudden disinterest, leaving you wondering whether you are on the right path. This inner conflict can manifest as a period of reflection, where you question your motivations and seek a deeper purpose behind your creative or romantic choices. Romantically, the 5th house governs love affairs and emotional connections, and Mercury's transit here indicates active conversations with a partner or potential partner. You may experience moments of openness, sharing ideas and visions for the future, but the presence of Ketu can also bring sudden distance or misunderstandings. The alignment of Mercury with the Sun enhances clarity in communication, but with Ketu involved, there can be moments of silence, withdrawal, or a feeling that something essential is missing in the relationship. This may not be a period for rushing into commitments, but rather for reflecting on what you truly value in love. Those already in relationships may feel the need to balance intellectual connection with emotional depth, while singles may feel an urge to step back and evaluate whether their romantic desires align with their long-term goals. The lunar eclipse on September 7th, occurring in your 11th house of networks, income, and aspirations, creates a balancing act between personal joys, 5th house, and collective involvement, 11th house. This eclipse can bring sudden revelations in friendships or within your social circle, where certain associations may no longer serve your growth. You may notice changes in group dynamics, particularly with individuals who do not align with your vision. For career-oriented Aries, this eclipse can highlight financial gains, income fluctuations, or sudden changes in professional networks. Since Rahu amplifies ambition, there could be a strong urge to achieve bigger goals, but the eclipse energy also suggests letting go of connections or desires that no longer bring fulfillment. This tug-of-war between personal happiness and societal roles will play out strongly, encouraging you to find a balance between self-expression and collective contribution. Until September 13th, Mars energizes Virgo, your sixth house of work, routine, and health. This period sharpens your focus on productivity, problem-solving, and defeating obstacles in your daily life. You may feel more competitive, motivated to take on new projects, or eager to improve efficiency in your workplace. At the same time, this energy can manifest as conflicts with coworkers or heightened stress if tasks pile up. Health-wise, paying attention to digestion, immunity, and stress management is important. From September 13th onward, Mars enters Libra, your seventh house, activating partnerships and relationships. This shift brings intensity to personal and professional partnerships, sometimes leading to conflicts if not handled carefully. For married individuals, Mars and the May 7th lead to passionate exchanges but also potential disagreements. In business partnerships, assertiveness can help secure progress, but impulsive decisions should be avoided. Financially, Mercury's rulership of the sixth house connects this transit to work and service-related income. Opportunities to increase earnings may arise through intellectual work, creative pursuits, or problem-solving roles. Speculative gains remain uncertain due to Ketu's influence in the fifth house, so caution is required in high-risk financial ventures. The lunar eclipse on the May 11th brings sudden changes in financial flows, perhaps a reshuffling of income sources or gains through unexpected channels. Long-term financial planning is advised during this period, as short-term fluctuations could create temporary instability. When it comes to children and family matters, Mercury's presence in the fifth emphasizes conversations about education, future planning, and intellectual growth of children. Parents may find themselves guiding children through important choices or addressing concerns regarding studies and development. The Sun's presence adds authority and involvement, but Ketu suggests the possibility of generational misunderstandings or a sense of emotional distance. Family dynamics may also be influenced by the lunar eclipse, particularly in relation to shared goals and expectations within the household. On a personal level, this transit opens up a path of spiritual and philosophical questioning. With Ketu influencing Mercury and the Sun, you may feel drawn to introspection, meditation, or exploring deeper truths about creativity, love, and the meaning of joy. At times, there may be a struggle between intellectual reasoning and intuition, but this very process can help you realign your priorities. The eclipse season often acts as a catalyst for transformation, and for Aries, this month emphasizes letting go of superficial goals in favor of pursuits that bring authentic fulfillment. Overall, Mercury's transit through the fifth house stimulates the mind, but Ketu ensures that you do not get carried away by superficial pursuits, urging you instead to search for meaning. The lunar eclipse in the 11th house highlights the need to balance personal joy with collective roles, while Mars's movement from the 6th to the 7th house ensures that work, health, and relationships remain areas of strong activity. If navigated with awareness, this period can bring not just growth but also important realizations about your long-term path and purpose. For Taurus, the month ahead brings an interesting combination of opportunities and challenges, as Mercury transits the 4th house in Leo while being conjunct with the Sun and Ketu. Since Mercury governs the 2nd and 5th houses for Taurus individuals, its movement here directly connects themes of wealth, speech, learning, children, creativity, and family stability with matters of home, property, inner peace, and emotional foundations. At the same time, the influence of the Sun intensifies matters of authority and self-expression, while Ketu introduces a sense of detachment or confusion. This combination can sometimes blur clarity in domestic or financial areas, requiring extra attention to avoid misunderstandings. Venus, the ruler of Taurus, adds another dimension, as it transits Cancer before entering Leo on September 15th. This will bring shifts in emotional dynamics, personal comfort, and relationships. The total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius, happening with Rahu and Moon, activates your 10th house of career, status, and public image, indicating that significant shifts in professional matters are likely to unfold. In terms of home and family life, Mercury's placement in the 4th house makes communication within the household a central theme. You may find yourself engaged in important discussions related to property, real estate, renovation, or family decisions. With Ketu's influence present, there may be a lack of clarity or some level of disconnection between what is intended and how it is expressed. Careful listening and patience in conversations with family members will be essential to prevent unnecessary arguments. This is especially true after mid-September when Venus, your chart ruler, also enters Leo, further highlighting domestic and emotional matters. Venus here will bring a desire for warmth and affection, but it can also increase expectations in relationships, making balance important. Financially, this transit has mixed outcomes. Mercury, as the second lord, represents wealth, savings, and speech, and its movement through the fourth house could draw your focus toward investments in property, vehicles, or home-related comforts. With the Sun and Ketu influencing Mercury, there is a chance of overestimating gains or making impulsive financial decisions. The key will be to remain practical and avoid letting emotions drive money matters. Since Venus is in Cancer initially, there may be expenses on family, travel, or lifestyle comforts. Once Venus enters Leo, expenses could shift toward home improvements or luxury-oriented pursuits. The lunar eclipse in Aquarius on September 7th could bring sudden developments in career that indirectly impact your income flow. This is a time to remain cautious about financial commitments, as eclipses often reveal hidden truths or bring sudden shifts. On the career front, the lunar eclipse in your 10th house holds significant weight. Aquarius represents innovation, networks, and unconventional ideas, so you may experience sudden realizations or disruptions in professional life. Since Rahu is involved, new opportunities may arise from unexpected directions, possibly connected with technology, international clients, or unconventional industries. The eclipse also suggests that certain illusions or false expectations regarding your professional standing could be shattered. If you have been unsatisfied with your career path, this period could serve as a turning point, pushing you toward a more authentic direction. The Sun's involvement in Leo during this period emphasizes the need for recognition and leadership, though you may simultaneously feel some inner detachment due to Ketu's influence. Patience and adaptability will be important as you navigate these changes. Educational pursuits, learning, and creativity also become prominent during this transit since Mercury is the 5th house ruler. For Taurus students, this is a favorable period for engaging in deep studies, though distractions at home or inner restlessness may create hurdles. Ketu's energy in Leo could at times scatter focus, making it essential to stay disciplined. For those involved in creative professions, such as art, writing, or performance, this period may bring bursts of inspiration, but also periods of uncertainty about direction or motivation. Collaborating with others or seeking mentorship could help channel these energies more effectively. Children's matters may also demand attention. Parents might experience miscommunication or misunderstandings with children, requiring patience and emotional support. Relationships will be colored strongly by Venus's transit. While Venus in Cancer initially supports emotional warmth and nurturing connections, once it moves into Leo on September 15th, a need for attention and acknowledgement within partnerships will grow. In marriage or committed relationships, communication will be the key, especially since Mercury in the 4th house can create misunderstandings at home if clarity is lacking. Ketu may sometimes cause a sense of distance or detachment in communication, leading you to question emotional closeness. This phase also provides an opportunity to strengthen relationships by focusing on emotional honesty and shared values rather than external appearances. For singles, this period may bring attraction toward individuals who seem unusual or spiritually inclined, though clarity about long-term intentions might take time to emerge. Health-wise, Mercury in the 4th house brings attention to the heart, chest, and lungs, areas that may require care. Emotional stress or inner restlessness could manifest physically, especially due to the Sun-Ketu conjunction. Practices that calm the mind, such as meditation, journaling, or spending quiet time in nature, will help balance tension. Since Venus will be shifting signs mid-month, dietary habits and routines may also fluctuate. Keeping a balanced lifestyle will be important. The lunar eclipse in Aquarius may bring temporary emotional turbulence, especially if professional stress spills over into personal life, so maintaining a healthy boundary between work and home will be important. Ketu's influence with Mercury in the 4th house may make you question your sense of emotional security and push you to seek deeper meaning in life. You may feel drawn toward practices that connect you to your inner self or to family traditions and rituals. The lunar eclipse could also awaken a sense of detachment from professional ambitions, prompting you to think more about life purpose and inner fulfillment rather than just external success. Overall, this transit for Taurus individuals is one of balance and recalibration. The focus is on harmonizing family, finances, career, and inner peace while navigating the complexities brought by planetary conjunctions and the eclipse. Mercury's dual rulership over wealth and creativity emphasizes that both material and intellectual resources will undergo shifts. Venus, your ruler, ensures that despite challenges, there will be opportunities to nurture meaningful connections and pursue comfort and beauty in life. By maintaining clear communication, avoiding impulsive financial decisions, and staying grounded during the eclipse energies, you can make this period one of personal growth and practical progress. For Gemini, the upcoming transit of Mercury into Leo and its placement in the third house marks a highly significant period, as Mercury is your sign lord and also the ruler of your fourth house. This means that the events connected to your personality, self-expression, domestic life, family stability, property, and mental peace will be deeply influenced. The third house, being the domain of communication, courage, siblings, short travels, and self-efforts, will highlight themes that are practical, everyday, and deeply tied to how you interact with your immediate environment. Adding to this complexity is Mercury's conjunction with the Sun and Ketu in Leo, which creates both opportunities for personal growth and challenges tied to ego, authority figures, and clarity in communication. To further intensify the month's themes, the total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius, involving Moon and Rahu, falls in your ninth house of higher wisdom, philosophy, and long-distance journeys. With Jupiter, your 7th and 10th lord, also transiting your sign, the energies of expansion, partnership, and career opportunities directly merge with Mercury's self-focus. This period will be highly transformative, requiring balance between self-expression, relationships, and the larger direction of your life. Career-wise, this Mercury transit emphasizes communication and initiative as central themes. Its presence in the third house highlights the need to take active steps in your work environment. You may be required to present ideas, negotiate, or take on roles where your communication skills play a central role. With the Sun conjoining Mercury, there is both recognition and scrutiny of your ideas. While your words may carry authority and help you impress superiors, the presence of Ketu may sometimes cause misunderstandings, sudden detachment from projects, or a lack of clarity in communication. Be mindful of how you present your thoughts, as there is a risk of being too blunt or misunderstood by colleagues. The lunar eclipse in your ninth house could temporarily cloud your judgment when making decisions related to foreign connections, higher education, or legal matters, so avoid impulsive decisions in these areas. The presence of Jupiter in your first house offers a protective influence, ensuring that even if challenges arise, they will eventually turn in your favor with effort and patience. Financially, this period may bring both opportunities and unexpected expenses. As Mercury rules your fourth house, its transit into the third can bring financial dealings related to property, vehicles, or domestic improvements into focus. You might find yourself investing in home-related items or supporting family members financially. Since the third house is also linked with contracts, short travels, and self-efforts, some Geminis may discover new income opportunities through writing, communication, networking, or creative ventures. Mercury's union with Ketu could sometimes create confusion or delay in payments, especially if you are freelancing or depending on multiple sources of income. The eclipse in your ninth house warns against risky financial decisions related to overseas investments or speculative ventures around this period. A more practical and cautious approach will protect your resources, while Jupiter's presence in your sign ensures that long-term financial growth remains steady, even if September feels somewhat uncertain. In terms of relationships and family, the Mercury-Sun-Ketu conjunction in the third house brings interesting dynamics with siblings, neighbors, or extended relatives. There could be moments of miscommunication, sudden disagreements, or misunderstandings with people in your close circle. Ketu's influence may sometimes create detachment or a feeling of distance, even when you are trying to connect. This period also gives you the ability to rise above small conflicts and see the bigger picture, especially as Jupiter's influence blesses your personality with maturity and patience. In marital life or committed relationships, the eclipse in the ninth house may test shared values, beliefs, or long-term visions. For those in long-distance relationships, communication will be especially important, as misinterpretations are possible. Yet, there is also the possibility of spiritual bonding, where both partners begin to explore deeper aspects of their connection. This is a time when patience and clarity will help maintain harmony. Health and overall well-being will need some attention during this phase. With Mercury ruling both your first house and your fourth house, its placement in the third indicates a need to focus on stress management and balancing your mental and physical health. The presence of the Sun in this house may increase energy, but also bring overexertion or burnout if you push yourself too hard. Ketu's influence could make you neglect health routines or lose track of self-care, so consistency in diet, exercise, and sleep will be important. The lunar eclipse in your ninth house could temporarily affect your sense of optimism and mental clarity, making it important to avoid overthinking. Meditation, journaling, or engaging in spiritual practices may help you stay centered. Jupiter in your sign acts as a great blessing, ensuring that even if minor health disturbances occur, recovery will be quick, provided you remain mindful of balance. Education and intellectual pursuits are strongly emphasized during this period. The third house transit of Mercury makes it an excellent time for students preparing for competitive exams, writing, or intellectual debates. The conjunction with Ketu could cause moments of distraction or sudden lapses in focus. If you are pursuing higher education, the lunar eclipse in your 9th house may bring temporary confusion regarding academic direction, mentors, or travel plans related to studies abroad. Yet, this eclipse also has the power to awaken deeper insight and inspire you to question old belief systems, eventually leading to greater clarity. For professionals, this transit supports learning new skills, particularly in communication, technology, or networking. It is also a favorable period for writing, publishing, or building an online presence. Spiritually, this period opens new doors of awareness. With Mercury conjoining Ketu, there is a strong pull towards spiritual communication, recitation, or silent contemplation. The eclipse in your 9th house further intensifies the search for truth and higher wisdom. You may feel drawn toward philosophy, astrology, or metaphysical studies that help you understand life's deeper meaning. Jupiter's presence in your sign amplifies this energy, helping you align your personal growth with spiritual expansion. Overall, September 2025 is a month of powerful transitions for Gemini individuals. Mercury's placement in the 3rd house strengthens your courage, communication, and networking abilities, but the influence of Ketu and the eclipse demands caution, patience, and mindfulness. The key lies in balancing the demands of your immediate environment with the larger life path you are shaping. With Jupiter in your sign, despite temporary challenges, this period holds immense potential for self-growth, improved communication, and alignment with your higher purpose. For Cancer, Mercury, the ruler of the 12th and 3rd houses, is moving through your 2nd house of speech, family, and finances. This transit becomes more complex because Mercury is not alone in Leo but joins hands with the Sun and Ketu. A planetary combination like this has both bright and shadowy sides, and its impact will unfold in your communication, relationships with family, and the way you manage your resources. The 2nd house is not just wealth, it also governs values, stored knowledge, speech, and the lineage you belong to. With Mercury transiting here, your mind will be heavily occupied with financial planning, family discussions, and how you present yourself through words. But since Ketu is also present, this is not a straightforward phase. Rather, it will bring moments of doubt, detachment, and at times, misunderstandings. The conjunction of Sun, Mercury, and Ketu is essentially a solar eclipse-like configuration, especially when Mercury falls between Sun and Ketu degree-wise. For Cancer individuals, this means that your confidence in speaking or decision-making may get temporarily clouded. Ketu brings a veil of confusion or detachment wherever it sits, and since it is sitting with Mercury, you may find it difficult to clearly articulate what you mean. There could be situations where your words are misunderstood by family members, colleagues, or close relatives. At the same time, this period can make you introspective about your values and financial strategies. You may suddenly feel detached from possessions or question the way money has been handled within the family. The Sun in the 2nd house gives a strong desire to assert authority in family decisions, but with Ketu's influence, this may lead to ego clashes and difficulty in finding common ground. On the positive side, Mercury here can awaken a deep interest in hidden financial knowledge, research about investments, or secretive forms of communication. You may feel drawn toward analyzing financial patterns, insurance, or even esoteric knowledge that runs in your family lineage. Mercury-Ketu combinations often give people a sharp ability to think differently, and when applied positively, it can help you discover innovative ways of managing wealth. One must remain careful about impulsive financial decisions during this time, as the clarity of thought may be hindered. Since Mercury rules your 12th house, its transit through the 2nd highlights an important theme: expenses versus savings. There may be sudden expenses related to family matters, health, or even on luxury items that do not serve long-term value. Because of Ketu's influence, some of these expenses may happen unconsciously, and you might later wonder if they were truly necessary. The 12th house also represents foreign connections, so there could be financial dealings linked with overseas contacts or expenditure in relation to travel, education, or spiritual activities. Being mindful of these patterns will help you balance your finances better. Mercury, as your 3rd lord in the 2nd house, also brings a link between communication and family dynamics. You may feel like sharing ideas with siblings, cousins, or close friends, but misunderstandings can crop up easily. Arguments regarding money or shared resources can surface. At the same time, this is a good time to sharpen your communication skills in a more strategic or secretive manner. For example, if you are involved in writing, research, or spiritual studies, this transit can make your words carry depth and hidden layers of meaning. It is important to remain patient and avoid speaking impulsively, as some Ketu energy can cause one to either remain silent at important times or speak in a way that seems unclear to others. The total lunar eclipse on September 7th falls in Aquarius, your 8th house, and is conjoined with Rahu. This adds another powerful layer of transformation. The 8th house represents sudden events, secrecy, and shared wealth. For Cancer people, this eclipse may bring to light financial matters connected to inheritance, taxes, loans, or joint resources. Something hidden may be revealed, which could alter your perspective on family wealth or shared finances with your spouse or business partners. Since the eclipse happens while Mercury is in your 2nd house, the theme of money and values is doubly emphasized. It may feel like your entire value system is going through a reset, where old beliefs about wealth and security no longer hold true, and you must adjust to new realities. On the personal side, this eclipse can stir emotions regarding intimacy, trust, and emotional security. Cancer, being a naturally sensitive sign, may feel heightened vulnerability during this period, especially as the Moon, your ruling planet, is directly involved in the eclipse. It would be wise to avoid making big financial commitments or emotionally charged decisions around the eclipse, as clarity only returns after the lunar energies stabilize. Instead, use this time to reflect deeply on your priorities, relationships, and the role money plays in your emotional well-being. Mars, your 10th and 5th lord, transits Virgo until September 13th. With Mercury in your 2nd house, Mars in your 4th, and the eclipse in the 8th, there is a strong karmic emphasis on family, home, and financial stability. It may feel like you are caught between managing professional duties, family obligations, and financial uncertainties all at once. The best approach is to remain patient, avoid confrontations at home, and use this transit to lay down stronger foundations for the future. For students and learners, Mercury's presence in the 2nd house along with Ketu may cause a temporary lack of concentration. While there may be a natural curiosity for hidden or complex subjects, grasping simpler ideas could feel frustrating. Parents of Cancer individuals may also find their children becoming quieter or less expressive during this time. On the brighter side, this is a wonderful phase to engage in spiritual practices, meditation. Health-wise, since Mercury rules the 12th house, there may be stress connected with sleep patterns or nervous system issues. As Mercury and Ketu gets too close, headaches, restlessness, or overthinking can become prominent. Paying attention to diet and avoiding overindulgence will help, as the 2nd house is also the house of food and eating habits. Overall, Mercury's transit through the 2nd house for Cancer people in September 2025 brings a mix of challenges and opportunities. Financial matters, family communication, and personal values will undergo shifts, especially under the influence of Sun and Ketu. The lunar eclipse in Aquarius will further intensify these themes, urging you to let go of outdated patterns and embrace a more evolved approach toward money, relationships, and self-expression. While the period may feel unsettling, it also holds the potential to push you towards spiritual growth and greater self-awareness, provided you consciously channel Mercury's inquisitive energy into wisdom rather than worry. For Leo, the month of September 2025 becomes a deeply transformative period as Mercury, the ruler of your 11th and 2nd houses, transits through your 1st house in Leo. This placement itself is very significant, because Mercury here directly influences your personality, speech, approach toward others, and your ability to express ideas. Since Mercury rules the 11th house of gains, social circles, and fulfillment of desires, as well as the 2nd house of wealth, family, and values, its presence in the 1st house ensures that these areas of life come strongly into focus. What makes this transit more complex is that Mercury does not move through Leo alone. It conjoins with the Sun, your sign lord, and with Ketu, the planet of detachment and past karmas. Adding further intensity is the total lunar eclipse in Aquarius on September 7th, occurring in your 7th house of relationships with the Moon and Rahu. The combined effect of these alignments makes September a period where your personality, communication, relationships, and even material gains undergo both challenges and revelations. Mercury in the 1st house usually sharpens the mind, enhances expression, and makes you more curious and analytical in your interactions. It often brings a sense of restlessness and a desire to express thoughts openly. With Ketu sitting so close to both Sun and Mercury, this energy takes on an unusual flavor. Ketu tends to eclipse or shadow the planets it joins, and in this case, both your sign lord, Sun, and the planet of intellect and speech, Mercury, are under its influence. This can make you feel at times that your words are misunderstood, your confidence dips, or that you are not being able to express yourself as clearly as you want. It may create a sense of inner conflict between wanting to communicate and simultaneously feeling detached or disinterested. This effect will be particularly strong when Mercury is caught between the Sun and Ketu degree-wise, as it can magnify nervous energy and affect concentration in daily life. Yet, this very combination also brings hidden blessings. With Sun, Mercury, and Ketu in the first house, you may be drawn toward introspection, spiritual thinking, or researching deeper truths. Ketu is known for stripping away ego and worldly attachments, and while it can make you feel less confident in social expression, it simultaneously creates room for discovering your authentic voice. For those engaged in professions related to research, writing, communication, or fields where analysis and secrecy are valued, this transit can sharpen your skills. You may become more focused on learning subtle details or uncovering truths that others overlook. At the same time, your communication style may shift. Rather than being openly expressive, you might adopt a more selective or private way of interacting, choosing carefully whom you confide in. Finances are another important area affected during this time. Since Mercury rules your second house of wealth, its transit in the first house with Ketu can bring mixed outcomes. On one hand, opportunities for gains and income are indicated, especially if you are involved in intellectual, educational, or networking-related fields. On the other hand, impulsive decisions, miscommunication, or lack of clarity can cause minor setbacks. It is essential for you to keep your financial planning organized and avoid making hasty investments. The presence of the Sun ensures that opportunities for leadership or recognition may arise, but Ketu's influence cautions you not to let ego or pride cloud judgment. Family matters may also need attention, as Mercury's rulership over the second house suggests conversations with relatives could be strained or require careful handling. Relationships take focus due to the simultaneous lunar eclipse in Aquarius on September 7th, which directly impacts your 7th house of partnerships. With Moon and Rahu eclipsed here, matters of marriage, business alliances, and close relationships could feel unstable or emotionally charged. There may be sudden revelations, misunderstandings, or hidden matters coming to the surface. If you are in a committed relationship, you may find yourself questioning the balance of give and take, or your partner may express a need for more clarity. Since your first house also hosts Mercury with Ketu during this time, you must be careful not to withdraw too much or become overly secretive, as it can create unnecessary distance. Instead, conscious communication and honesty will be key in navigating relationship dynamics. For single Leo individuals, the eclipse could bring unexpected encounters, but caution is required as Rahu's influence tends to cloud judgment. Professionally, this transit carries potential for growth but also requires patience. The 11th house rulership of Mercury brings opportunities to expand your network, connect with influential people, and work toward long-term aspirations. The Sun, Ketu influence in your first house may make you feel unsure about your direction, at least temporarily. You might feel that recognition is delayed or that your efforts are not being fully appreciated. Health also deserves attention during this transit. With Mercury, Sun, and Ketu in your first house, nervous energy may be heightened, leading to restlessness, sleep disturbances, or issues related to digestion. Ketu can sometimes trigger a feeling of disconnection from the body, so it is important to ground yourself through regular routines, balanced diet, and relaxation practices. Activities such as meditation or spending time in nature can be especially helpful in calming both mind and body. Be cautious of overthinking or allowing small worries to spiral into stress. Since Mercury rules the 11th house, which also connects with the nervous system, and the second house of food, dietary discipline and moderation become important to maintaining stability during this period. Ketu's influence on both the Sun and Mercury in your first house opens doors to deeper self-inquiry. Many Leo individuals may find themselves more drawn toward meditation, prayer, or practices that help them connect with higher truths. This is a period where your soul seeks authenticity and where material recognition may feel less important than inner clarity. If you are open to it, the insights you gain now can help you realign your goals and identity in profound ways. Overall, the transit of Mercury in Leo, conjunct the Sun and Ketu, along with the lunar eclipse in Aquarius, creates a month where Leo individuals undergo significant personal and relational transformation. It is not an easy period, as challenges related to communication, confidence, and relationships may arise, but it is also a time where you can discover deeper truths about yourself. By practicing patience, careful communication, and openness to spiritual insights, you will emerge from this transit with greater clarity and strength. For Virgo, the month of September 2025 is particularly important because your chart ruler, Mercury, takes position in the 12th house while joining hands with the Sun and Ketu in Leo. This combination is quite significant because it creates a situation where your ruling planet gets both empowered and eclipsed at the same time. Being the ruler of the 1st and 10th houses, Mercury directly influences your self-expression, health, career, reputation, and professional achievements. Its movement into the 12th house indicates a period where hidden matters, subconscious patterns, spirituality, and behind-the-scenes work will take focus. When Mercury conjoins Sun and Ketu, it marks a karmic phase of deep inner reflection, spiritual awakening, and a detachment from worldly recognition. This is a phase that urges you to retreat, to conserve your mental and physical energies, and to reassess your larger direction in life. The 12th house is not only the house of losses but also of liberation. It represents foreign lands, distant travel, isolation, sleep, meditation, hospitalization, and spirituality. With your sign lord positioned here, you may feel that your normal energy is subdued, that your usual analytical clarity is clouded, and that you need more time alone. At the same time, this placement enhances your imagination, your research abilities, and your capacity to dig deep into the unseen layers of life. For Virgo individuals, this could be a period where dreams, intuition, and spiritual practices provide more guidance than logical reasoning. You may find yourself inclined to meditation, studying mystical subjects, or seeking retreats away from your daily routine. The presence of Ketu alongside Mercury and Sun complicates matters further. Ketu represents detachment, past life karmas, and mystical insight. When it comes together with your chart ruler in the 12th house, it can bring strong spiritual revelations, but it can also make you lose focus on mundane responsibilities. Some Virgo individuals may feel a sense of disconnection from their career or public image, as the 10th house lord sits in the 12th house with Ketu. This could manifest as sudden breaks in professional life, decisions to step away from a job, or even opportunities to work in foreign lands or secluded environments. If you are in fields related to spirituality, psychology, research, healing, or foreign assignments, this transit can be very beneficial. For those heavily involved in routine jobs, this phase may test your patience, as you may not receive the recognition you expect. Another important factor to consider is the simultaneous transit of Mars. At the beginning of September, Mars remains in your 1st house in Virgo, energizing your personality, boosting your confidence, and giving you the courage to take initiatives. This energy may also make you restless and impulsive. Since your sign lord is in the 12th house, this fiery push from Mars could cause internal conflicts. You may feel like taking bold steps, yet find yourself withdrawing at the same time. The total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius also plays a major role in shaping your experiences. For Virgo individuals, this eclipse occurs in the 6th house, the house of work, service, health, daily routines, and enemies. With the moon and Rahu present, the eclipse can create sudden shifts in your work environment, changes in your health routines, or unexpected challenges from hidden rivals. This is not a time to ignore your well-being. You should pay close attention to diet, sleep, and stress levels. The eclipse energy, when connected to your 6th and 12th axis, strongly emphasizes karmic matters related to service, health, and spiritual liberation. Some Virgo individuals may even decide to leave toxic workplaces, start new health regimes, or adopt healing practices that align body and mind. Career-wise, this month can feel like a turning point. With your 10th lord Mercury hidden in the 12th house, much of your professional progress may take place behind the scenes. You may be working on projects that are not yet visible to others or preparing for future opportunities. Some Virgo individuals may even start exploring international connections, remote work, or jobs connected with research, spirituality, or healing fields. Recognition may not come immediately, but the seeds planted now can bear fruit later. Since Sun is conjunct Ketu, clashes with authority figures or a lack of clarity about your career direction can frustrate you. The best approach is to remain patient and avoid impulsive decisions during this sensitive phase. Financially, the 12th house Mercury-Sun-Ketu combination suggests high expenses, especially related to spiritual pursuits, foreign travel, or medical needs. There could also be financial outflow toward family or sudden obligations that feel unavoidable. The 12th house Mercury can make your communication slightly withdrawn or secretive. You may not feel like expressing your emotions openly, which can cause misunderstandings with loved ones. At the same time, this placement deepens your inner world, making you more sensitive and intuitive toward your partner's needs. For married Virgo individuals, this period may bring a need for private time with your partner, away from the chaos of everyday life. For singles, there could be hidden attractions or connections with people from foreign lands or spiritual backgrounds. Health is another key area to monitor. With your sign lord in the 12th house and a lunar eclipse in the 6th house, this period highlights the need to take care of your physical and mental well-being. Stress, anxiety, sleep disturbances, and nervous exhaustion are possible if you overwork yourself. Mars in Virgo adds to physical energy but can also create inflammation or heat-related issues in the body. Spiritually, this month is highly significant. Mercury, Sun, and Ketu together in the 12th house create a perfect combination for deep meditation, research, and mystical exploration. Virgo individuals may experience vivid dreams, sudden intuitive insights, or encounters with spiritual teachers. The inner calling to retreat from the outer world will be strong, and if you allow yourself time for silence and solitude, profound realizations are possible. Overall, September 2025 is a month where Virgo individuals need to find balance between worldly responsibilities and inner reflection. With Mercury, Sun, and Ketu placed in the 12th house, much of the focus will be on letting go, seeking solitude, and connecting with your spiritual side. Career and financial matters may feel uncertain or hidden, but patience will pay off. Mars adds energy to your personality early on and later sharpens your focus on financial security. The lunar eclipse emphasizes health and service, reminding you to take care of your body and routines. While challenges may arise in the outer world, the real growth lies within, as this period opens the doors to wisdom and self-discovery. For Libra, Mercury, ruling both the 9th house of fortune, wisdom, and long-distance matters, as well as the 12th house of spirituality, foreign connections, and isolation, will be transiting through Leo in the 11th house of gains, networks, and desires fulfilled. This alignment places strong emphasis on how Librans navigate collective environments, associations, and their hopes for the future. With Mercury being conjunct the Sun and Ketu in Leo, this transit brings complexities that cannot be ignored. At the same time, Mars shifts from Virgo into Libra mid-month, Venus moves from Cancer into Leo, and a powerful lunar eclipse occurs in Aquarius on September 7th. All of these transits layer additional influences onto Libra's experience this month, creating both opportunities and challenges. Mercury's position in the 11th house typically enhances communication within networks, friendships, and professional circles. It gives an individual the ability to connect with influential people, negotiate gains, and strengthen ties that can help in long-term progress. But this is no ordinary Mercury transit, as the conjunction with the Sun and Ketu. The Sun's conjunction here can highlight your ambitions, making you more determined to achieve recognition within your social or professional circles. Yet, the presence of Ketu can simultaneously detach you from these very circles, creating moments where you may feel misunderstood, isolated, or uninterested in group dynamics. This paradoxical energy may manifest as fluctuating desires, wanting the approval of networks and at the same time feeling drained by them. With Mercury sandwiched between Sun and Ketu, Libra individuals may also face issues around communication within friendships and networks. Misunderstandings, ego clashes, or a sense that others are not fully supportive may emerge. The way you express yourself may not always be received clearly, especially in situations involving collective projects. Ketu's influence can make your speech come across as blunt, detached, or too analytical, which may distance you from certain people. Still, this same influence can awaken a deeper wisdom, allowing you to see through superficial connections and recognize which friendships are authentic and which are not. It is a period of filtering your social environment, letting go of certain associations that no longer align with your purpose. Mercury as 9th Lord transiting the 11th house also shows that fortune and opportunities can come through friends, mentors, or social groups. With Ketu involved, these opportunities may not manifest in the usual straightforward way. Instead, you may find yourself guided toward unconventional people or unusual circumstances that lead you toward growth. For those involved in higher studies, teaching, law, philosophy, or spiritual pursuits, this transit may encourage networking with like-minded people, though not without moments of disconnection or ideological differences. With Mercury also ruling the 12th house, foreign connections, spiritual groups, or online communities could play a pivotal role in shaping your experiences during this month. Gains may arise from overseas dealings or spiritual work, but equally, there may be losses or expenditures tied to these areas. The total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius falls in your 5th house, combining the moon with Rahu. This eclipse strongly impacts matters related to romance, creativity, children, and personal passions. It can stir unexpected changes in love life, bringing sudden realizations or shifts in relationships. If you have children, their lives may demand greater attention during this time, possibly through academic or emotional matters. For creative individuals, this eclipse can feel disruptive, but it also has the power to break stagnation, forcing you to innovate and think outside the box. When connected with Mercury's transit in the 11th house, this eclipse emphasizes balancing personal joys and creative pursuits with collective duties and social responsibilities. At times, there could be tension between what you want for yourself and what others expect from you. Mars's movement this month is another important influence. Until September 13th, Mars moves through Virgo, your 12th house, which can bring fatigue, hidden frustrations, and expenses. You may feel like your energy is dissipating in behind-the-scenes matters or in dealing with issues that remain unresolved. Once Mars enters Libra, your first house, it injects a surge of vitality and assertiveness. This shift helps you regain confidence and courage to take direct action. But it also makes you more reactive, so managing impatience in interactions with others becomes vital. Venus, the Lord of Libra, adds another layer of influence. Throughout the early part of September, Venus is in Cancer in your 10th house of career, boosting opportunities in professional life. Your charm and creativity are likely to bring recognition, and your ability to balance relationships at the workplace can support career progress. But after September 15th, Venus enters Leo, joining Sun and Ketu in the 11th house. This creates a stellium in the house of gains and networks. While Venus here can enhance your ability to attract influential allies and gain support from social circles, Ketu's presence complicates matters by creating detachment. It is a powerful time to discern between genuine friendships and those based solely on self-interest. Financially, the 11th house transit of Mercury and Venus can be positive, bringing potential gains through communication, partnerships, or creative endeavors. Yet, these gains may not feel entirely satisfying, as Ketu creates a sense of incompleteness. You may receive rewards or recognition but still feel something is missing. At the same time, expenses may rise due to Mars's placement in the 12th house, and investments tied to speculative ventures or friends should be approached cautiously around the eclipse. Long-term, this period encourages you to think about how to align financial pursuits with your spiritual and ethical values. On a personal level, this month highlights growth through reflection and detachment. While challenges in communication and networks may surface, the deeper purpose of this transit is to help you purify your desires and ambitions. It pushes you to question whether your social environment truly aligns with your higher goals. For Libra individuals, this can be a month of redefining what success and fulfillment really mean, shifting from external validation to inner contentment. The presence of both benefic and malefic influences suggests that progress will come, but only after moments of inner conflict and clarity. Overall, September 2025 for Libra individuals becomes a transformative period where Mercury's transit in the 11th house, conjunct Sun and Ketu, forces reevaluation of friendships, ambitions, and collective roles. The lunar eclipse shakes up matters of love and creativity, Mars empowers your individuality mid-month, and Venus amplifies both charm and detachment within networks. The month holds promise for gains and recognition but also demands a careful balance between worldly desires and spiritual insights. For Scorpio, the transit of Mercury is significant because it is in your 10th house of career, reputation, public image, and authority figures. Mercury governs both your 8th house of transformation, secrecy, joint resources, and sudden changes, as well as your 11th house of gains, social connections, networks, and ambitions. With Mercury moving into the 10th house, joined by the Sun and Ketu in Leo, there will be heightened activity in professional matters and a strong focus on how you are perceived in your career. Since the Sun and Ketu are involved, this period also carries themes of ego eclipses, possible detachment from authority, or changes in your relationship with people in power. The way you communicate and present yourself in professional life will undergo transformation. There may be a push to redefine your role or let go of certain old ambitions that no longer serve you. At the same time, Mercury's intellectual influence can help you plan new directions, especially if you channel your energy into analytical or strategic thinking. The presence of Ketu alongside Mercury and the Sun can sometimes create confusion or misunderstandings in work communication. You may feel that superiors are not fully supportive, or that your voice is not being heard in professional spaces. This may trigger a sense of detachment from your current work role, and you might start questioning the long-term meaning or satisfaction you are deriving from your career path. This is not purely negative. It can be a powerful period of reflection where you analyze your ambitions, cut away from superficial goals, and realign your focus with work that resonates with your deeper purpose. Since Mercury also governs your 11th house, the idea of professional networks, large organizations, and social circles linked to career comes into play. Some connections may dissolve during this time if they lack authenticity, while new, more meaningful alliances may appear in the long term. Mars, your ruling planet, adds another important layer of influence. At the beginning of September, Mars is in Virgo, energizing your 11th house. This brings a strong desire for teamwork, networking, and pursuing ambitions through group efforts. You may feel highly motivated to chase gains and recognition, though conflicts in group settings or friendships are also possible due to Mars's aggressive energy. The total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius falls in your 4th house, where the moon joins Rahu. This is a powerful trigger for changes in home, family, and emotional foundations. The eclipse may stir up unresolved issues related to your family, mother, or domestic environment. For some, it can bring relocation or changes in property matters. Since the moon governs your 9th house of higher wisdom, fatherly guidance, and destiny, the eclipse may also challenge your belief systems or shift your perspective on family traditions. The combined effect of the eclipse and Mercury's conjunction with Sun Ketu means you may feel torn between personal comfort and professional obligations. Balancing home life with career will be a major theme in September. From a financial perspective, Mercury's rulership of the 8th and 11th houses indicates that joint resources, inheritance, or financial matters connected with business partners could come into focus. You may need to be cautious with shared money or investments, as confusion or miscommunication could arise. Unexpected gains are possible, but they may come with hidden conditions or sudden responsibilities. Mercury's presence in the 10th house can also make you rethink the role of finances in your career goals, whether you are pursuing professional recognition purely for money, or if there is a higher purpose you want to attach to your work. On a personal level, Mercury in the 10th house can make you more analytical and strategic in relationships with authority figures, mentors, or fatherly personalities. The Sun, Ketu influence may highlight detachment or misunderstandings with such figures. This can feel disorienting but will ultimately help you build independence and clarity in how you define success. For married individuals or those in committed relationships, Mercury's rulership of the 8th house highlights shared responsibilities and joint efforts with a partner. There may be discussions around financial planning, intimacy, or hidden issues that surface during this transit. The eclipse energy may also make you feel emotionally restless in personal life, urging you to seek deeper emotional grounding. Health-wise, Mercury's conjunction with Ketu in Leo can sometimes create nervous tension or stress-related issues. Since this transit is taking place in your 10th house, professional stress may directly impact your physical well-being. It will be important to maintain a balance between work and rest. Mars's movement into Libra can also lead to disturbed sleep patterns, hidden anxieties, or overthinking. Practices such as meditation or quiet retreats can be extremely beneficial to counter these influences. Spiritually, this is a deeply transformative time for Scorpio individuals. Mercury's dual rulership of the 8th and 11th houses ties together themes of transformation, hidden knowledge, and spiritual wisdom with social and worldly aspirations. With Ketu amplifying detachment and Sun intensifying ego lessons, September may feel like a testing ground where you are asked to shed false ambitions and step into more authentic alignment. The lunar eclipse in your 4th house further intensifies this process by forcing you to confront emotional patterns and let go of past baggage that prevents your inner peace. The combination of Mercury, Ketu, and the Sun in Leo could encourage interest in secretive or mystical subjects, leading you to explore astrology, psychology, or research-driven work as a means of self-discovery. Overall, September 2025 is a month where Scorpio individuals may feel pulled between career pressures, home responsibilities, and inner transformation. Mercury's transit through your 10th house along with Sun and Ketu highlights a period of professional redefinition and possible detachment from external recognition, while Mars's movements energize your ambitions early on and then shift you toward inner reflection. The lunar eclipse in Aquarius brings powerful emotional shifts at home and may challenge family or domestic stability. While there can be confusion, stress, or even sudden changes, this month also offers an opportunity to break free from outdated patterns and realign your career, financial, and personal goals with your deeper purpose. For Scorpio individuals, patience, self-reflection, and conscious communication will be key tools to navigate the intensity of this period. For Sagittarius, Mercury, the ruler of your 7th and 10th houses, transits your 9th house in Leo, while forming a conjunction with the Sun and Ketu. This placement immediately highlights the themes of higher wisdom, travel, faith, mentors, philosophy, and expansion of your worldview. As Mercury governs your professional and partnership houses, the way you think, communicate, and engage with people in authority, as well as life partners, will be deeply influenced by this transit. The Sun in Leo gives a strong urge to assert yourself in matters of belief and long-term vision, while Ketu's presence adds a sense of detachment, confusion, or a spiritual reorientation. This combination can make you rethink your philosophy of life, your career trajectory, and even your relationships with mentors or partners, as you try to redefine what is truly meaningful. One of the most significant dynamics of this period is how this transit influences career and relationship matters. Since Mercury governs both your 7th house of partnerships and the 10th house of career, its placement in the 9th house may push you to reconsider how your professional life and relationships align with your higher ideals. Some of you may feel the need to break away from limiting contracts, alliances, or outdated belief systems that no longer serve your purpose. For those who are married or in long-term relationships, conversations could revolve around shared future goals, relocation, or aligning cultural or spiritual values. The presence of Ketu with Mercury and the Sun may create misunderstandings or communication gaps in these areas, particularly if either party feels rigid about their own beliefs. This is a time to listen with patience and avoid imposing your worldview on others. On the professional front, this transit may inspire you to explore opportunities in education, law, publishing, travel, or spiritual work, since the 9th house governs these areas. Some Sagittarius individuals may even feel a strong pull toward teaching, training, or sharing knowledge in unconventional ways. With Ketu's influence, you may also feel disillusioned with existing authority figures or mentors, prompting you to rely more on your wisdom than external guidance. Yet, Mercury's intellectual drive ensures that you'll still gather knowledge, research, and examine different perspectives, though the way you interpret them will be deeply personal. This phase can bring both a challenge and an opportunity in your career path, whether it's sudden shifts in your goals or the need to reassess your long-term professional direction. The Sun's presence may add ego clashes with mentors or bosses, so it's important to remain flexible and avoid confrontations, especially when expressing your ideas. Adding more intensity to the month is the total lunar eclipse on September 7th, which takes place in Aquarius in your 3rd house, conjoining Rahu. This eclipse will directly influence your communication, short travels, siblings, and networking. It can bring sudden revelations, a shift in your immediate environment, or unexpected events involving siblings or close associates. Since Rahu is involved, the eclipse could amplify your ambitions in communication-based fields or digital platforms, but it may also create illusions and confusion. Words spoken impulsively could create lasting misunderstandings, so measured communication is necessary. This eclipse may also awaken a strong desire to expand your influence in social circles or media-related work, but balancing truth with diplomacy will be key. When combined with Mercury's transit in your 9th house, this period may bring sudden changes in your worldview through conversations, news, or even travel experiences. Jupiter, your chart ruler, is currently transiting Gemini. This is significant, as it creates a dynamic push-pull between your personal beliefs and the perspectives of others, particularly partners or collaborators. Jupiter in your 7th house emphasizes learning through relationships, while Mercury with Ketu in your May 9th challenge you to filter what is worth accepting and what needs to be released. On one hand, you may find yourself surrounded by people who broaden your perspective and expose you to new philosophies. On the other, you might also realize that not everyone's advice aligns with your truth. This opposition can feel like a test of balance between logic and faith, between listening to others and trusting your own spiritual compass. In terms of travel and exploration, the 9th house placement of Mercury, along with the Sun and Ketu, could trigger unexpected journeys, either physical or intellectual. Some Sagittarius individuals may feel compelled to travel abroad for studies, training, or spiritual reasons, though plans may face sudden changes due to the eclipse or Ketu's influence. If travel is undertaken, it may not go as planned, but the experiences will bring deep lessons. Similarly, higher education or training pursuits may undergo disruptions, but such detours could lead to more meaningful directions in the long run. This is a time to be flexible with expectations, as rigid plans may not hold. Health-wise, Mercury's rulership of the 10th house connects to stress from professional responsibilities, while its rulership of the 7th house ties to balance in relationships. When placed in the 9th with Ketu, mental fatigue may arise from overthinking philosophical or moral issues, especially if you feel unsupported by authority figures or partners. Issues with the nervous system, digestion, or speech may surface, so mindfulness and balanced routines will be essential. Engaging in meditation, journaling, or spiritual practices could help stabilize the mind and reduce anxiety during this transit. Financially, Mercury's rulership of the 10th and 7th houses suggests that income may be tied to professional contracts, business partnerships, or international connections during this period. Some Sagittarius individuals may gain through collaborations abroad or by expanding into foreign markets. Ketu's influence can bring sudden fluctuations, so it's wise to avoid overcommitting or making hasty financial decisions. Clarity in agreements and written contracts will help avoid confusion. In relationships, the transit highlights the need to balance personal philosophies with those of a partner. Some Sagittarius individuals may experience a sense of detachment with their partner, especially if values clash. Ketu's influence may make one partner withdraw emotionally, while the other struggles for clarity. Open and honest communication is essential, though timing and patience will determine how smoothly conversations unfold. Overall, this period is one of introspection, reevaluation, and reorientation for Sagittarius individuals. With Mercury conjunct Sun and Ketu in your 9th house, the focus is on aligning your professional ambitions and personal beliefs with the higher purpose. The lunar eclipse in your 3rd house will challenge you to refine your communication and relationships with siblings or networks, while Jupiter's presence in your 7th house will ensure that partnerships continue to be central to your growth. While this period may bring temporary confusion or detachment, it is ultimately guiding you to a deeper understanding of your life path, helping you filter out illusions and focus on what truly matters. For Capricorn, Mercury, the ruler of your 6th and 9th houses, transits through the 8th house in Leo. This transit is far from ordinary, as Mercury aligns with both the Sun and Ketu, forming a conjunction that often brings intensity, karmic lessons, and sudden realizations. The 8th house is associated with transformation, hidden matters, shared wealth, inheritance, occult knowledge, and unexpected changes. When Mercury, a planet of communication, intellect, and rational thought, moves through this mysterious domain while under the shadow of the Ketu and Sun, it tends to draw you into deep introspection, compelling you to confront subjects you may have previously avoided. Matters of secrecy, unspoken emotions, and financial joint ventures will become more prominent, while at the same time, you could face challenges in expressing thoughts openly due to the eclipsing influence of Ketu. The presence of the Sun adds both vitality and ego clashes, while Ketu's spiritualizing energy may lead you to detach from superficial communication and instead focus on the essence of truth. This is a time where your intellectual curiosity may be redirected toward research, occult studies, or investigations into matters that are hidden beneath the surface. Mercury's rulership of the 6th house suggests that health, daily routines, and workplace matters will come under the radar. As it transits the 8th, there could be situations where you are forced to rethink your approach to health, perhaps uncovering hidden issues that need to be addressed. At the workplace, secrets, behind-the-scenes conversations, or power struggles could emerge. The 9th house rulership of Mercury connects this transit to higher learning, belief systems, and long-distance matters. The influence of Mercury in the 8th house may push you to question long-held philosophies, turning you toward more spiritual or esoteric knowledge rather than rigid or dogmatic thinking. At the same time, relationships with mentors, teachers, or father figures may undergo testing, as Ketu's involvement with the Sun can sometimes indicate distance or misunderstandings with authority figures. For students or professionals engaged in higher studies, this may become a time of deep research, where answers are not readily available but require persistence and focus to uncover. Your ruling planet, Saturn, is retrograding in Pisces during this period, and this has a profound impact on the way you process Mercury's transit. Saturn in Pisces emphasizes inner work, spirituality, and the dismantling of illusions. Since Saturn retrograde often slows things down, you may find that revelations connected to this Mercury transit are not immediate but unfold gradually through experiences. The retrograde motion of Saturn encourages reflection on past decisions, particularly around faith, philosophy, and emotional resilience. The influence of Mercury in the 8th house could trigger sudden changes in professional or financial matters, perhaps involving inheritances, taxes, insurance, or shared wealth. These themes may be unsettling at first, but they carry opportunities for restructuring your financial base in the long run. The lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius, falling in the 2nd house for Capricorn, further ties into this theme of finances and self-worth. With Rahu and the Moon aligned in the 2nd house, sudden shifts in income, family values, and personal speech could take place. This eclipse energy combined with Mercury's transit of the 8th house suggests that you may undergo a significant reevaluation of your resources, security, and values. This period could reveal hidden truths about financial dealings or bring forth opportunities to release unhealthy attachments to material possessions. On an emotional level, the eclipse could create a sense of instability in family dynamics or speech patterns, where misunderstandings or abrupt conversations are likely. Since both the 2nd and 8th houses are activated simultaneously, themes of give and take in finances, inheritance, or joint resources will be highlighted. You may find yourself balancing your own financial independence with shared commitments, learning lessons about detachment and trust in the process. In terms of career, the presence of Mercury in the 8th house may not directly support outward progress, but it will play a key role in shaping long-term strategies. This is a time to work quietly behind the scenes, gather critical information, and prepare for future breakthroughs rather than aggressively pushing forward. Sun and Ketu's influence can sometimes create an environment of sudden changes at work, where projects may shift unexpectedly or hidden politics come to light. You should remain cautious about workplace communication, ensuring that you do not reveal more than necessary and instead use discretion to navigate office dynamics. While outward recognition may feel limited during this period, the inner clarity and insight gained will be invaluable for future growth. On the personal and emotional front, Mercury in the 8th house may trigger conversations around intimacy, trust, and vulnerability. Relationships could feel tested, especially if secrecy or unspoken matters exist between partners. You may find yourself either retreating into introspection or seeking deeper emotional bonds that go beyond superficial exchanges. The Sun-Ketu conjunction may bring temporary distance from partners, but it also offers the opportunity to dissolve ego-driven conflicts and embrace a more soulful connection. For singles, this period may draw you toward unconventional or spiritual connections rather than surface-level relationships. In family matters, Mercury's position could reveal hidden concerns that need to be addressed openly, even if the conversations feel uncomfortable at first. Health requires special attention during this transit, as the combination of Mercury with Ketu in the 8th can sometimes manifest as stress-related concerns, nervous system imbalances, or issues arising from hidden conditions. This is a time for you to be mindful of your mental health and adopt practices that calm the mind, such as meditation, journaling, or spiritual study. Since the 6th house is connected to Mercury, and the 8th house amplifies chronic issues, preventive care and early detection of health matters are essential. Physical and mental detox practices, whether through dietary changes, exercise, or spiritual discipline, can help you navigate this phase more smoothly. Overall, Mercury's transit in the 8th house for Capricorn in September 2025 is a period of profound transformation. With the Sun and Ketu amplifying karmic lessons, and Saturn retrograde deepening the process of reflection, this time pushes you to confront hidden truths about finances, relationships, and your inner world. The lunar eclipse adds intensity by spotlighting financial security and family values, urging a redefinition of priorities. While the period may initially feel unsettling due to sudden changes or lack of clarity, it ultimately serves as a cleansing phase where old patterns are dissolved and new insights emerge. You are being guided to embrace patience, introspection, and spiritual growth, recognizing that the greatest progress often comes from within rather than through external achievements. For Aquarius, the transit of Mercury in the 7th house becomes an important turning point for both personal and professional relationships. Mercury rules the 5th and 8th houses for this sign, meaning it carries the significations of romance, children, creativity, hidden transformations, longevity, shared resources, and sudden events. Its movement into the 7th house of partnerships, marriage, and collaborations indicates that conversations, agreements, and negotiations will dominate this period. The picture is not simple, as Mercury joins the Sun and Ketu in Leo, intensifying themes of ego clashes, spiritual detachment, or karmic lessons in relationships. To add further intensity, the total lunar eclipse on September 7th will take place in Aquarius itself, activating the 1st and 7th axis of self and partnerships, suggesting that this month will bring revelations, closures, or turning points regarding how you relate to others. Saturn, the ruling planet of Aquarius, is retrograding in Pisces, highlighting financial management, values, and emotional grounding. This planetary combination creates a transformative phase for Aquarius individuals, where clarity in speech and balance in relationships become the central themes. This Mercury transit pushes you to evaluate the role of communication in your partnerships. Whether it is marriage, long-term commitments, or business alliances, conversations will play a decisive role in shaping outcomes. Mercury's placement in the 7th house can make you more logical, expressive, and articulate in matters of partnership, but since it conjoins with Ketu, misunderstandings, misinterpretations, or an unusual distance may develop. You may feel that your partner is not fully present, or there could be a sense of detachment in your interactions. For some, this can trigger doubts about the direction of their relationship, while others may experience sudden clarity about where they stand. The Sun's involvement intensifies matters, as egos can clash, making it vital to avoid being overly critical or defensive. If handled with patience, this period can allow for deeper conversations that reveal hidden truths and help reset the foundation of your partnerships. Professionally, Mercury's role as the natural significator of commerce makes this an important time for business collaborations, negotiations, and agreements. You may find yourself discussing terms with clients, partners, or superiors. The Sun-Ketu conjunction in your 7th house warns against making hasty commitments, as not everything may be visible on the surface. Certain promises or agreements may later prove unreliable, so it is wise to double-check contracts, written agreements, or verbal deals. If you are self-employed or in a business that involves partnerships, this period could bring both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, new prospects may arise, especially in fields related to creativity, technology, or consulting. On the other hand, disputes or differences of opinion with partners may require careful mediation. The 8th house connection of Mercury adds a layer of unpredictability, suggesting that sudden financial or business shifts could occur. The lunar eclipse in Aquarius on September 7th brings matters of self versus partnerships into sharper focus. Being in your 1st house, this eclipse may bring emotional intensity and the need to redefine your individuality within your relationships. It could highlight whether you have been giving too much of yourself or neglecting your own needs in favor of others. Since Rahu is with the moon during this eclipse, your desires and ambitions may feel magnified, pushing you to break free from restrictive relationships or old ways of relating. For some Aquarius individuals, this could bring closure to stagnant partnerships, while for others it may initiate new karmic beginnings. The eclipse energy is powerful for inner realization, making it a time when sudden insights help you see both yourself and your partner in a different light. Romantic relationships may feel complicated under this transit. With Mercury ruling your 5th house of love, its presence in the 7th indicates that romance and long-term commitments will blend, possibly pushing you to make important decisions about where your relationship is headed. With Ketu involved, there may be confusion, detachment, or a sense of something being unresolved. Single Aquarius individuals may encounter someone significant, but the connection may feel unusual or karmic in nature, carrying lessons rather than immediate fulfillment. Those already committed may need to pay attention to communication, as even small misunderstandings can snowball into larger disagreements. It is a time where listening becomes more important than speaking. Financially, Mercury's transit in the 7th house could bring expenses or gains connected to partnerships, contracts, or joint ventures. Business people may see fluctuations in revenue due to differences with partners or changing market conditions. The 8th house rulership of Mercury also points toward shared resources, taxes, insurances, or inheritances becoming areas of focus. Some Aquarius individuals may benefit from sudden financial gains, while others may have to deal with unexpected financial obligations. With Saturn retrograding in Pisces in your 2nd house, it is a reminder to manage money carefully, avoid impulsive expenditures, and ensure long-term stability rather than short-term gratification. Health-wise, the impact of the eclipse and the Sun-Ketu conjunction may create stress and mental restlessness. The emphasis on the 1st and 7th axis suggests that both physical vitality and emotional well-being could be tested. Overthinking, strained conversations, or disagreements may disturb your peace of mind, making it necessary to practice calmness and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Since Mercury governs both intellect and nerves, this period may also heighten anxiety or overanalysis. It would be wise to avoid overexertion and adopt grounding practices such as meditation or journaling to release pent-up emotions. The transit of Mars in Virgo may create a critical or detail-oriented approach, especially in handling routines and responsibilities, but once it enters Libra, it will energize your house of fortune, travel, and expansion. This can provide relief by opening doors for new experiences, long-distance journeys, or spiritual exploration. Overall, September 2025 becomes a transformative month for Aquarius individuals. Mercury's transit in the 7th house emphasizes partnerships, yet the Sun-Ketu conjunction and the lunar eclipse in Aquarius reveal that not everything will be smooth or straightforward. Challenges in communication, ego clashes, or karmic lessons in relationships are likely, but they also serve as opportunities to achieve greater awareness. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces reminds you to anchor yourself in values and manage finances wisely. Mars shifting signs mid-month will bring fresh energy for growth and expansion. By maintaining patience, clarity, and openness, this period can ultimately help you redefine relationships, balance your individuality with commitments, and set the stage for stronger foundations in the months to come. For Pisces, the transit of Mercury through the 6th house is an important period that will highlight matters connected to daily work, service, health, debts, enemies, and problem-solving abilities. Mercury, which rules your 4th and 7th houses, takes on added significance because it links home, family, property, partnerships, and relationships to your day-to-day challenges and routines. This means issues from your domestic or marital life may blend with professional responsibilities or even with disputes in your work environment. Since Mercury will be conjunct the Sun and Ketu in Leo, there will be both clarity and confusion in these matters, making it a time where sharp intelligence is necessary to balance detachment with practical action. With Saturn retrograding in your own sign, there is already a karmic weight upon you, testing your patience, discipline, and long-term vision. Added to this, the total lunar eclipse on September 7th in Aquarius, your 12th house, brings hidden matters to the surface, possibly creating a sense of emotional unrest, secret revelations, or spiritual turning points. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is transiting Gemini in the 4th house, adding layers of mental expansion regarding family, property, and inner stability. All these factors together make September a complex yet transformative month. This transit places focus on your ability to handle disputes, both personal and professional. You may find yourself in situations where misunderstandings in communication, particularly with coworkers or subordinates, escalate more easily. Since Mercury represents speech and the 6th house represents conflicts, the way you express yourself will carry great weight. Rash or careless words could lead to quarrels, especially because Mercury is under the influence of the Sun and Ketu, which can distort clarity. On the positive side, this combination gives you the intelligence to find solutions to problems that have lingered for too long. A detached approach, guided by reason rather than emotions, will serve you better. You must guard against the tendency of Ketu to make you dismissive or detached at critical moments. Financially, this period could present mixed results. The 6th house is connected with debts and loans, and with Mercury here, you may be reviewing financial obligations, clearing old dues, or restructuring loans. Some Pisces individuals may feel pressure to take loans, while others might be focused on repayment. The conjunction with the Sun could highlight authority figures, such as banks, tax officials, or lenders, bringing financial scrutiny into the picture. The eclipse occurring in your 12th house may also trigger sudden expenses, particularly related to foreign travel, hospitals, or spiritual causes. You may feel a drain on resources, but Jupiter's influence from the 4th house suggests that support from family or property-related gains can help you navigate challenges. In terms of health, Mercury's transit through the 6th house puts attention on stress, digestion, and nervous system-related issues. Since Mercury is conjunct Ketu, there could be moments of neglect where you ignore small symptoms until they become larger issues. The Sun here may also highlight problems related to vitality or immunity. You must prioritize a disciplined health routine, especially as Saturn retrogrades in your sign, demanding maturity and self-care. Mental stress is likely due to juggling multiple responsibilities, and meditation or spiritual practices could bring significant relief. The eclipse in Aquarius further indicates that subconscious tensions may surface, so dream patterns or deep-seated fears could affect your mental state. This is the time to focus on healing from the inside out, rather than just managing external responsibilities. Partnerships and relationships will also come under the scanner. Since Mercury rules your 7th house of marriage and partnerships, its transit in the 6th house can create friction between partners. There could be disagreements over daily responsibilities, financial matters, or extended family issues. The Sun and Ketu's involvement could add elements of ego clashes or detachment, making communication tricky. Some Pisces individuals may feel that their partner is distant or not fully supportive during this time. If approached with maturity and calm, this period can also bring clarity about underlying issues that were being ignored. For business partnerships, legal or contractual matters may come up, and you must read the fine print carefully before making commitments. Career-wise, this transit is about handling work pressure with patience. The 6th house represents service and employment, so Mercury here increases multitasking and problem-solving opportunities. At the same time, it can make you prone to overanalyzing or getting caught in unnecessary details. Since Mars is in Virgo, emphasizes perfectionism and critical judgment, but once Mars enters Libra, the focus will shift to negotiation and diplomacy. This shift is important for Pisces individuals, as it can help resolve workplace disputes that may have arisen. Spiritually, this is a month of awakening, particularly because of the eclipse in your 12th house. The 12th house is the area of hidden matters, spirituality, and isolation, and when a lunar eclipse occurs here with Rahu, it can bring sudden revelations or inner realizations. Pisces, being a deeply spiritual sign, may find this time transformative in terms of meditation, intuition, or connecting with divine energies. It can also bring moments of confusion, sleep disturbances, or a feeling of being overwhelmed by subconscious fears. Saturn's retrograde in your sign adds to the pressure, making you feel as though you are carrying a karmic weight. This is a testing time, but it also has the potential to build resilience and deepen your spiritual foundation. Education and learning are also influenced during this transit, especially because Mercury rules your 4th house of education. Students may experience fluctuations in concentration or clarity. With Mercury conjunct Ketu, there could be phases of disinterest or lack of focus. This is also a period where research-oriented study, analytical work, or problem-solving exercises can thrive. The eclipse in the 12th house may cause some disruptions in academic pursuits, especially related to foreign education or exams. Overall, September 2025 is a month of trials and revelations for Pisces people. Mercury's transit in the 6th house tied with the Sun and Ketu indicates that everyday matters, work, health, and disputes, become the central focus. Financial concerns, health management, and partnership adjustments will demand attention. The eclipse in the 12th house brings to the surface hidden emotions, karmic issues, and expenses, while Saturn's retrograde in your sign forces you to mature and shoulder responsibility. Jupiter's influence ensures that despite challenges, you retain the wisdom and inner strength to navigate them. This is a month where clarity comes through facing difficulties head-on, and where spiritual insight can guide you to transform challenges into long-term growth. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the sidereal zodiac system used in Vedic astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions, and outcomes will vary depending on your individual birth chart. The influence of transits is deeply shaped by your ongoing dasha periods and the specific placement of planets in your natal chart. What may be a time of progress for one person could mark a period of reflection or challenge for another. This is why it's essential to interpret transits within the context of your unique chart. If you're seeking a more personalized understanding of how current transits may impact you, or if you have specific questions about your birth chart, feel free to reach out to us. If you found this content helpful, please consider liking the video, sharing it with others who may benefit, and subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates. Thank you for watching. We look forward to continuing to share deeper astrological insights with you. Until next time, stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.